Have you ever listened to the song by Ed Sheeran with Justin Bieber, I believe? It goes by, I'm at a party where I don't want to be at, and I don't even wear suit and tie, wondering if I could sneak out the back. Nobody's even looking me in my eyes. Then you take my hand, finish my drink, say, shall we dance? Hell yeah, you know I love you. Did I ever tell you, you make it better like that? Because he doesn't care when you're this baby, all the bad things disappear. Anyway, when I was listening to the song, it made me think about this concept that I've recently been talking to you guys about, which is essentialism. How many times, if you're introverted like myself, that you end up at parties and you end up at social gatherings and you're like, man, I don't really want to be here. For me, I used to tell myself, the things that would motivate me to go there. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'm coming for my mom because, my mom is going there, so I'll go for my mom, or I'm going there for my family. But I really didn't want to be there. And then most recently, like the song says, when your girl is there, when someone you love is there and you want to be around, then you go. That became my motivational thing. But I started to realize that, anyway, before we go any further and you wanna you gotta do these things when you're a YouTuber. Please guys, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, leave a like, and help me grow this channel and help me inspire other young men and women out there who need the help. And anyway, going back to the video, here's what it is. When you're at these places, you're thinking to yourself, man, I want to be home, or I want to be doing something else. A lot of times, that's how it feels. And I believe that's why a lot of us resonated with the song when it came out. I don't care. And a lot of times we put pressure on our loved ones because we're like, man, I'm only here for you. I don't want to be there. And I think that if you tell someone you love that, in a way you might think it's being romantic, but you're actually hurting them because they believe that the only reason you went there was for them. You're not enjoying it, and in a way you make someone feel pressured, or you make them feel like, oh, okay, But anyway, today's video I wanted to talk to you guys. It's based on a quote that I recently read. It goes like, if you don't prioritize your life, someone will. And we have to learn to do this. We have to learn to prioritize our lives, because we don't prioritize our own happiness. We end up in these situations where we're like, oh, I'm only doing this to make you happy. Or we end up in situations like what happened to me. I found a job, and then the guy is like, you can only work when the business needs you to work. I'm like, okay, that doesn't sound, that didn't sound fair to me, because if I only work when you want me to work, it means I only make money when you want me to make money. And that means I only can eat when you decide that I can eat. And that's because I've willingly given my life to you, right? When we find these jobs, these 9 to 5s, where it's like, okay, I'll take your, because what they'll say is give me your availability, which in those days were like the whole week, right? You give someone 7 days and you tell them I'm available 7 days in a week, and I'm available to work from the time the business opens to the time the business closes. And then they say, okay, fine. So what would happen is they'll give you a schedule. You promised 3 weeks in advance, but they never did that. They'll give you the schedule a week, like next week's schedule. And then they're like, 1 week you get all 5 days you're coming into work, because you can only work 40 hours. Thank God for the government and HR policies, right? You can only come in for 40 hours, and then they give you that. And then the following week they give you 4 hours of work. So now you work 52 hours, and that translates to whatever in minimum wage that you guys get paid in your areas. And what then happens is, let's say your nephew's birthday is there on a Saturday and it's a Friday, and your nephew is like, oh, come to my party, and you're like, no, I can't come because I'm going to work, my boss needs me at work. So now you're missing out on your nephew's birthday party, just to be at work because you need to make money, right? And rightfully so. But what happens is, the reason you end up in that situation is you didn't prioritize. You didn't create priorities for yourself. You should never have said I'm available on Saturday, because events happening on Saturdays. And when my boss says that to me, like, you can only work when the business wants you to work, that means in a way I've lessened myself and became and sacrificed my time for my boss to do whatever he feels is right for the business. And rightfully so, that's what the business needs. And I have to be in a position to say to myself, okay, this is how this works. Okay, I have to prioritize, and I have to make sure I position myself and put myself in a better situation to be able to take care of myself, to an extent that the next time, there are people who don't have to work when they don't want to, that prioritize their lives. And us, as we are becoming essentialists, that's one thing we have to do as well. We have to be able to learn to prioritize the most important things in our lives, because if we don't do that, we keep falling victims to these situations where it's like, this month you can only make 300, and then you have rent due, and then now you have to end up working 4 jobs, and those 4 jobs can end up clashing because it's out of your control. But the one thing that you can control is your time, and your mindset is what helps you change that, especially like, oh, but Kevin, I need money. Yes, you do. Figure it out. You have to figure out, how am I going to make money to be able to live a life based on the priorities of the things that I prioritize. How can I control my life? If you're a highly valuable person in society, the society moves around your schedule, not you moving around the society schedule, not you being forced by other people to do what they want. For example, me and my boss, and he doesn't have control over me. I have the power to say no and quit that job and find a job that respects me and gives me enough time to be able to do what I need to do. But in order to do that, I have to present value to someone to be willing, for them to be willing to pay me to be able to do that. So what I'm not saying is go and quit your job, but what I'm saying is, let's work hard to put ourselves in positions that we can prioritize the most important things to us, so that when our nephews, nieces, kids, and everybody else asks us for our time, we're able to give it to them without falling victim or trying to impress the man to be able to do what we need to do. A lot of us, we post things on our Instagrams and our socials and be like, I'm the boss, I'm the guy, I'm in control. But a lot of us, really, we are not in control. Someone controls our situation. We work when someone says work. We jump when someone says jump. And that happens because we don't prioritize our lives and somebody else does. And it's very inconvenient in a lot of cases. Like, you were planning on doing a celebration for your nephew, and then someone chooses to do that. Anyway, I'm just going to read you something of an expert, of someone who spoke this. He is saying yes when you should be saying no, can seem like a small thing in the moment, but over time such compromises can create a life of regrets. Greg explains how he learned the importance of no and why we should all be saying no. A no uttered from the deepest conviction is better than a yes merely uttered to please or worse, to avoid trouble, say Mahatma Gandhi. For example, going back to me, when I told my boss I'm available 7 days, that was just to impress him so that I can get the job. But I could have said I'm only available for 3 days, and because at the end of the day, when you look at such jobs, it's like, okay, I need this job just to pay my rent, right? And to be able to focus on other things that mean more to me. Okay, how many hours a week do I have to work, and how many days? You can control that and then give him your availability. And if he doesn't value that, then that's cool. But my focus will be on other things, right? So always understand this. And I think I have to repeat this for you guys. A no uttered from the deepest conviction is better than a yes merely uttered to please, always to avoid trouble. So in any situation, choose yourself. You have to be willing to choose yourself and to understand that if I don't control the situation, and the situation is out of my control, the results that may come out of them may be things that I don't agree with. Your boss will schedule you to work on Christmas and New Year's Eve, and rightfully so. That's within his right when you signed it and you agreed to that. So don't give up your life for money. Always make sure you say no in situations that you need to say no, and in your pursuit of becoming an essentialist. Essentialism is a form of minimalism, but don't confuse minimalism with essentialism, because what minimalists do, I don't really know. But what I know with essentialism, it's all about doing the things that are essential to what you're trying to achieve. So if you're trying to pay rent, it's essential that you find an income source. It's essential that you do the work that you need to do to get there. But it's about understanding that if my rent is $500, I just need to work X amount of hours to achieve that. And then if it's money for other things, then it's essential that I do X, and then that way you understand your priorities and the things that make you happy. It's okay to give up 7 days of your life to another man if that's essential to achievement of whatever you're seeking to achieve. But whenever you feel as if at the end of the day, like, no, I'm not really happy with the situation, then it's up to you to change that and really question your priorities and see what's important to you. But always have an understanding that no matter how much you ignore life and you say to yourself, nah man, I'll let things be, if you don't prioritize your time, another person will, and they will not do things that are convenient for you no matter how much they love you. It's the same thing. This concept works everywhere. It's not just about the time, it's about your finances. It's about, if you don't prioritize your money, the banks will take it from you. That's how we end up in debt. If you don't prioritize your health, the doctors will take you to the cleaners. So you have to be very focused and intentional about your life, especially in these times that we live. Consumerism is very high and we have to battle it. So yeah, with that said, thank you. Please subscribe, comment, and leave a like.